double chores, like washing windows and fighting in wars. Harley, let's get busy, free us from thinking and work with boys. Let's mix genetics with something fizzy and create a race of subhumanoids who'll do everything for us. Subhumanoids do the job to meaning.
They'll do space exploration too.
They'll do the cooking and they'll do the cleaning.
And then they'll even do you.
Class of Nuke High, Part 2. It's a Subhumanoid Meltdown coming on through.
It's the class of Nuke High, Part 2. It's got some taglines, but they all probably smell like poo.
Well, there's only one tagline.
Thank God. It's probably awful.
Student power meets nuclear power.
All right, that's probably the best thing about this movie.
I mean, you might not be wrong, honestly.
The best thing is that tagline in the song.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Here we go. So, with one flashback, one giant mutated squirrel, 11 scenes of female nudity, full body burns, car explosions, radioactive squirrel vomit, 2 sex scenes, football babies, beehive hairdos, belly button mouths, lizard man mutants, fly man mutants, dolphin man mutants, gorilla man mutant sex, cameo appearances by the Toxic Avenger, shards of glass through the hand, glass shards through the face, subhumanoid meltdown monsters, face melt-offs, chewing on glass, flying baby fish mutants, talking squirrels, Batman mutants, a head ripped out of the socket and eaten, and countless deaths. With a 4.2 on IMDb, it's 1991's Class of Nuke High, Part 2, Subhumanoid Meltdown. Let's drop some buttons.
Can you use it? No, but I'm going to kill them. German style! Doc, you go to the window. I'll kill him. American style.
You're talking about some damn shark's mother?
Your article's on page 1. So sad,
Thank you, Captain.
Do something about the B.O. Come and get me, you son of a bitch. I'll get you, motherfucking
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Ginny. Happy birthday to me.
Welcome to Bombs Away, the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me inside the studio, as always, is...
The man who wished he could have been turned to goop, Tyler O.
Oh, I would have done anything to become nuclear and radioactive and explode.
That would have been cool.
Right? That's so unfortunate to hear that. Because I love the first one so much.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay.
Now I don't want
I mean, this movie gives you an update.
Yeah, it sums up the first movie.
So let's let the movie do that for us.
Yeah.
Ready? Here we go. Here is the intro to Part 2 telling you about Part 1.
Tromaville, New Jersey, 1986. Whilst the carcinogenous clouds of Chernobyl wreaked havoc over Eastern Europe, something even more funky was festering. A careless leak of toxic liquids escaped from the Tromaville nuclear power facility.
Another leak.
And seeped into the water supply of nearby Tromaville High School. These horrible, unmentionable fluids caused the student body to mutate and transmorgify. And worse, it caused them to dance badly when the Smithereens showed up. Some thought they were okay, but no one was safe from the rabid radiation and its strange hormone-reversing side effects. Not even virgins. Some of the students gained superhuman strength. While others simply spewed up mangly mutant monsters.
What the?
Tromaville High became Nuke High, and there was only one way for the class of Nuke High to stop the mutant monster force. They had to destroy their school. But that was then, and this is a sequel.
So basically, it sums it up pretty well.
Yeah,
right.
really
Like
well.
you didn't need to see it.
No, it's yeah.
Yeah, the nuclear power plant next door contaminated the water, but also something they didn't really focus on is that they were also the Cretans, which in this film is kind of like the bad gang, like the squirrels.
Yeah.
Right? They were growing weed next to the power plant and then
Nice.
selling it to the students, and that weed was also nuclear active, right?
Oh.
So there was two different ways people were becoming contaminated with radiation, and but the same effect kind of happens.
Yeah, everyone gets infected.
Yeah, the girl kind of becomes pregnant with the baby mutant, and that grows into a giant monster mutant that kills all the gang members by the end of the movie.
It did say, and virgins.
Yeah, right. But she, no, she was a virgin still. That's right.
Is it like Cabin in the Woods rules? Like you gotta get what you can get.
Yeah. Well, they were gonna have sex, but they didn't.
Weak.
Because there's very Puritan like kind of through line there between those two main characters. The guy who's like kind of looks like the Hulk in those scenes.
Sounds like
and then
freaking,
her.
Any trauma movie.
Yeah.
There's always that Puritan like oh, I love you, Bobby type character.
The problem with this movie is
A lot.
yeah, that it also has an extremely I'm like, this is the movie that sexual predators base themselves on.
Go on.
like watching the Dean work in this movie.
Oh, just like squeezing butts?
Yeah, I'm like, damn, like Harvey Weinstein was like, that's me.
Oh God.
It's awful.
Yeah, but that's the thing with like newer, I know this is like 20 years old, over 20 years old, but like newer trauma films get real nasty with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
Poultrygeist is kind of like that too.
Yeah, I guess, but they always come off as like just kind of over the top.
This came up straight up like predatory,
just creepy,
just really creepy and gross.
Well, that happens throughout the whole thing. Like it's such a weird thing because to me there is a line between like 80s comedy, like Vice City, or I mean Vice Squad, or what is it? Vice Academy.
Vice Academy,
right? And this,
yeah,
where Vice Academy is like, hey, here's these girls, and their clothes might fall off, bra and panties.
Yeah,
or
this
something.
was just straight up just like, just show tits and ass and grab it.
Yeah, and be okay with every single girl getting either harassed, fondled, or almost borderline raped.
Yeah,
and it's for jokes, like it's funny, like guys, isn't it so funny that we just have all these guys who are just raping people?
Yeah, it's not funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate to be a Debbie Downer right in the beginning of this episode, but I do have to say, for for a level of like where it's like I like Troma, right? Like I like Toxic Avenger, I love Class of Nuke 'Em High 1. That this, and maybe part of it is that like I don't get this feel from a Lloyd Kaufman directed movie.
Well, he didn't make this one.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm getting this from this director.
Yeah. That's
part of it,
yeah,
I think.
This has a sense of humor much akin to, like, Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
Just like, gross and not that funny.
I can agree with you. I totally I can see where you're coming from. And it's almost to shock you in a different way than Kaufman would.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the only thing that I really noticed is that when it comes to like satire in a political way or like we said the Puritan way,
yeah,
it's not coming off like Kaufman would.
No, it's not smart in this at all.
No.
There is some funny moments in it, but everything's so heavy-handed and over the top. It's just not.
So this one was directed by Eric Louzil, who is most famous for this movie.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Right? But I had seen something else on his directing credits when I looked it up earlier that was like, oh, really? Well, he did part 3 as well. But there was something else. Oh, Lust for Freedom was one of those other ones where I'm like, oh, he's always like Fortress America, like nice. KKK. He's always made these like crazy, like Bikini Beach Race, like these kind of like crazy over the top, either action or like skin flicks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sounds about right for this guy.
But the difference I would feel like if I watched any of these other ones compared to this one is that like I feel like he's going to take them more seriously than this. This one, he was like, oh, we get to lean into the fact that it's a movie. And,
and we get to lean in that it's bad.
Yeah.
But they don't.
I don't know. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
So now we're introduced to the fact that a new college
this is
school
a college now.
Has been built on the remains of the high school that blew up from the first movie.
Yeah, which is weird.
And it is the Tromaville Institute of Technologies, or TIT.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're setting you up for the type of highbrow humor that's about to occur.
These are the jokes.
Yeah.
And TIT, on a daily basis, has daily methylene sprays.
Yeah, which is actually kind of funny.
It's just because basically the school was set up with the guise of, yes, we'll put this school to fund actually that we're actually have another nuclear power plant.
Yeah, and the
built.
kids are running the nuclear power plant.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a student-run nuclear power plant.
Which is in that realm of just like trauma stupidity.
Yeah.
This is going to be really hard for us to like kind of place logic in a movie that breaks the fourth wall. And
it's also going to be really hard for us to outline the plot because there really isn't one.
Not much.
The main conflict of this movie literally can be summed up, can be completed in 10 minutes, but there's so many like skits and vignettes that happen in between that it's just like,
oh, for sure.
Shit.
So this is a school next to a power plant, a nuclear power plant, that still needs to have like daily methylene sprays to decontaminate people.
Yeah.
Right? It also, in this voiceover, says that it has limited space for lockers, thus the girls need to wear limited clothes.
Which is like, excuse me? What?
Yeah.
Who's taking their clothes off at school? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of butt cheeks in this movie.
A lot. And just everybody's in a bikini.
Everyone.
Every girl
is
in a bikini. And it wouldn't be a Troma movie without one or two overly obese dudes that are extremely gross to even look at.
The guy has a tattoo on his stomach that says "Eat broccoli."
It's just a reminder that he never follows through.
Slim down. Our main character This is one of the only jokes.
Brock Hunk Beef.
Brock Hunk Beef. This is one of the only jokes in this movie that carries over well. He's a huge hunk. He's a bodybuilder and all this shit, and he's like
this weird ponytail.
Yes, well, a weird ponytail. That is the worst part. But no, he's seen as like ugly as fuck, and he can't get laid.
And one of my favorite...
Brick Bronsky. Man, you were so wrong.
No, I'm just making fun of his name.
It was close enough that it was, like, believable.
I mean, that's his actor name, is Brick Bronsky. The character name is Roger Smith.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So I'm like, beef heart cake.
Yeah.
It's all from that old Mystery Science Theater, like, space.
I see.
Yeah. But either way, yes, this guy who's just like... He's basically if Dolph Lundgren was American.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy should have played He-Man.
And he's actually good.
Yeah. He is the through line in this movie that holds it together.
As strong as he is, because he's carrying this whole movie.
Yeah, and actual people.
Yes, and actual people.
So,
he falls.
What we're introduced to is basically the climax of the movie in the beginning.
Yeah, this is done a la Pulp Fiction style.
In a way, yeah.
It starts at the end.
Yeah. So there's a giant mutated squirrel that's just like stepping on people, but they're G.I. Joes.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. It's
There's some stuff that this movie does that's like sight gags and like little things that are funny and did make me laugh, but I felt stupid as fuck.
And I felt dirty.
I did too.
I definitely felt dirty.
I took a shower after watching this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mostly because you just needed to.
I needed to.
Because you, just like Brick Bronsky, have major BO.
Which is another weird joke that it's never explained, but he just smells bad, apparently.
There's so many lines where people are like, Jesus Christ, you just stink.
Yeah, they're like, he's in his room and he's like, or it's supposed to be his dorm, but it's also an office for some reason. And this like fucking gross guy comes in. He's like, well, how about some deodorant? It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's something where it happens, where somebody gives him a flyer and he's like, do something about your BO.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's funny.
That is funny. That's like genuinely funny.
Because we were like, you just fucking stink.
Yeah.
So this squirrel is stomping around the school, destroying it. People are being vomited on by the squirrel.
Typical
with,
trauma shit,
nuclear, waste. And then Beefcake Hard Rocks comes in.
Beefcake Hardcock comes in.
And he's carrying this girl, and he's like, please God, don't let her die. And like a really cool, like, in-joke. This is when you realize, like, oh, like the movie is making fun of itself and the universe that it lives in. He's like, please, I swear I won't watch any more trauma movies.
Yeah, and
right?
I was like,
you're like, okay, here we go.
I wish he would have looked at the camera because that would have made it even funnier. I won't watch any more trauma movies.
Right. Which also is a through line too, is that like he must be a fan of trauma movies because he has in his room a Toxic Avenger poster.
Yeah, but there's a Toxic Avenger poster in every fucking trauma movie.
That's true. But he also has a Class of Nuke 1
yeah,
poster.
which is pretty good. That's a kind of a funny sight gag. Like I said, everything that's funny in this movie is not meant to be funny.
No.
Like the things you laugh at are not what's going on.
And he has a Trauma's War out in the the hallway of his room.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there. But he begs God and does this entire narration because he happens to be a student journalist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was researching what was really going on behind the scenes here at TIT.
Yes.
And so what's really going behind the scenes here is all done now in, I guess, flashback form for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Until we catch back up to this scene. So, some things to note. Like you said, the nuclear reactor is totally run entirely by students, right? The new corporation in charge of the reactor is Nuke Mama, who is also doing scientific experiments.
Yes, and we have this, like, sexy lady with a big, huge beehive hair.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Professor Holt.
Yeah, Professor Holt.
I did find her attractive.
Yeah, me too. She's very cute.
Yeah, right?
But she's a terrible actress.
But she has this gigantic beehive to the point where like it starts to curve.
It keeps
forward.
falling off of her. The entire movie, she's adjusting it.
Yeah.
It's like fixing it.
And she wears a bra and panties with just a lab coat over it.
And it's open.
Yeah.
Except it's buttoned at the crotch.
Yeah, right.
So dumb.
I really enjoy her.
Yeah, she's funny
in this film. And and she's wearing like these like glasses like Hollywood from Mannequin.
Yeah, they're weird.
Those 80s like swoop glasses. I don't even know I don't know how to describe it other than the fact that they're like they got points and they swoop around your full face and they're crazy. Like something where I'm like, can I get my hands on one of those?
Interesting.
Yes.
She also starred in Bikini Beach Race.
That makes sense.
Another of his movies.
She was in Toxic Avenger 2.
She's also in Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Yeah, so she's a trauma staple from
she's
80s,
a trauma
90s.
person.
I know she was also on USA Up All Night to introduce it. So that's where I first remember seeing this film as a kid, but always like kind of skipping it. Like it would come on as a double feature on USA Up All Night with part 1, and I would see the beginning and see the squirrel, and that's the only thing I remember is the gigantic squirrel like around the nuclear stacks.
Yeah.
And would never watch the rest. And I don't know, maybe even as a kid I felt like I was like, I don't like this.
I hate this.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that went down.
And then there's Dean Okra, who has the world's most annoying fucking voice. Jesus Christ, this character is unbearable. Dean Okra, the guy who's running the school.
Oh yeah, the dean.
And he's like, hello!
It's awful. And he's disgusting too because he's got actual dandruff around his hairline.
He's got like eczema.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's so fucking gross because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
And they cast him purely because he had gross ass eczema around his head. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's okay, so he is Weinstein incarnate. He's just like every single scene that he has with this Professor Holt.
He's like squeezing her boobs, touching her butt.
Yeah, and it's just, isn't it lovely that we work here at Nuke Mama? And you're just like, oh my god, please stop talking.
Yes, it's the worst voice,
right? So some other things are that there's also, like, the students are doctors. There's doctors, and they operate on people using chopsticks.
Yeah, that's a weird one. And the chopsticks make jackhammer sounds.
Yep.
It reminded me of Amateur Surgeon.
And there's a gang called the Squirrels.
Yes, ran by this big fat guy.
Which does not explain why they're called the Squirrels and only becomes really confusing to us when we're trying to describe the movie versus a giant actual squirrel and the Squirrels.
I don't know why. Yeah, I also was confused about them being called the Squirrels because apparently the only thing untouched by the nuclear radiation in the area, because they were smart enough to stay away from it, is the squirrels.
Right.
So it's like... And not the gang, like literal squirrels, animals.
Right. But also, they get called Cretans, which was the name of the gang from the first one. They get called Cretans some place in the movie, and they're like, yeah, we're Cretans. You're like, why aren't they just Cretans? Why didn't that gang just carry over?
Because it sucks.
You're gonna check out on this one, aren't you?
God, this one's rough.
So, the squirrels are like a bunch of those fat guys. There's the squirrelettes, which are like girls.
And they're scared of one thing. Young boys on rollerblades.
What the hell?
And that shit made me laugh really hard, and I felt so dumb for it. I literally at the end was
Why was it funny to you?
I don't know, because it was just so nonsensical. I didn't think... They said, and the squirrels and the squirrelettes are only scared of one thing. Young boys on rollerblades. And I was like, what? And then it showed them, and I was like, what? And they were all like, run! And they ran, and it made me laugh. And then after that, I was like, I'm an idiot. I'm so dumb.
Yeah, like, because I didn't understand why the young boys on rollerblades would even be at this school. You know?
It's funny. It's so dumb.
You're right.
It's such a
because we could pick on this all day long, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's all dumb.
So also, like, Tommy Wiseau is one of the squirrels. It seems there's a guy that looks just like Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, he's scary looking,
and even talks weird too.
Yeah. I kept thinking, like, is that a celebrity? Because they kept showing him all weird in the scenes, but it's not. We're coming up to a joke where they're explaining what it's like to eat lunch at Tit, and they said the only food they served was plastic novelty animals. And that made me laugh again really hard. And I was like, I'm so dumb. It did genuinely. I was like, and I was like, that's so fucking dumb. Why am I laughing?
Yeah. They got you a couple
on
times.
On the table, tons of plastic novelty animals covered in like Jello.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
God damn
there
it.
is a sign.
You're going to wind up saying you love this movie.
There is a sign at one point that also says "Eat dolphin meat." And it's like a dolphin smoking a cigarette.
So another thing is that there's this weird. What is with the not Toxie, but like he looks like a Toxie ripoff?
Captain?
Huh?
Captain? That's his name, but he's also the he's the costume designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a costume designer for the movie's named Captain, and they model the character after him, and it's like this mutant guy, which I thought was something from the first movie, but it's not.
Not at all.
And he's all
nothing.
fucked up on top, but he has basketball shorts and regular
He looks
legs.
awful.
Yeah, he looks.
But I'm like, is he just wearing a mask, or he's supposed to be a real mutated person?
I think he's all melted. Yeah, it's
nobody's addressing it.
It's so dumb.
But he's one of the ones who's like, "Why don't you do something about that BO?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why don't you do something about your face?"
So Brock Longcock is going to talk to his editor at the newspaper about how he has a really...
But not before he does a whole bunch of monologuing. He saves a baby.
He does save a baby. They throw a baby around and he catches it.
Yeah, so the squirrels, like, this is another thing I don't understand is, like, why you would have this, like, this gang who would pay tuition to be in college to be a gang.
Well, they didn't pay tuition. We learn later that they're working with...
True, but like it's just this weird thing where it's like everybody is in the school would be there to learn. Like you don't, maybe you go to college to party, but you don't go there to like rape.
Another funny joke,
kill babies.
Another funny joke that happens is when he's talking about the classes you can take, and he doesn't name any of them, but on the board it's like Uzis 101. like I was like, that's dumb. That's what they're gonna teach us in school now.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah, they throw a baby around.
Yeah, they're taking a baby, they're tossing it back and forth, and then they're just like fuck it,
and they chuck it,
throw it across the. And I'm just like, wait a minute.
And Roger catches it, and the lady walks up, takes it from him, and is like, all men are pigs, and walks away. And it's really weird.
It's extremely weird. Like, I just don't understand where this movie wants to go. What it wants to be.
It wants to go every which way, but sensical.
That's true. So, like I said before, we're introduced to Professor Holt, who wants to make what's known as subhumanoids.
Yes.
And subhumanoids, in her own description, which is by far confusing at best, is that they are unthinking, unfeeling human beings that can be basically subservient, right?
Yeah.
But her reason for making them unthinking, unfeeling, like clones of people, is more so that they don't suffer the pain and emotion that we do and that she has as a child.
Yeah, and she also wants...
But we don't know what she's been through.
She, like, wants them to fight wars. That's later on said. That's the whole reason behind it. It's like, they can fight wars and not us. They do show us her as a child.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was weird.
But stretching, like, a brain skin over a skull.
She's like, I've always wanted to do this. And the kid's like, what the fuck am I doing on this
The kid's
set?
just got a beehive with the glasses and a lab coat on.
Yeah, the kid's like, God, I hope I get a SAG credit for this.
So, she says through gene splicing, film splicing, and nuclear fusion, which I laughed at. I laughed at that, too. I was like, film splicing.
So dumb.
Right? She basically tried to splice... First, she tried to splice together like a fly and a human.
This is actually really I like.
And
this
these are
part.
all stop motion animation.
They're all clay too. They're all made of clay.
She tries to splice a fly
human
and a
fly.
human. Also, though, she tries to do a lizard and a human.
And then she does
a dolphin,
a bulimic dolphin and a human, and it vomits.
It's always vomiting.
Yes, it's always vomiting.
And then she was like, I finally got the right combination with a gorilla and a human.
And then it was
but
like,
it has some giant horn.
And also it can have sex with women through their bikinis. They don't need to take the bikini off to have sex.
Why, though?
I don't know.
Why is that a thing?
And the women's like, ah! It's so weird. And it does have a horn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why does it need to have sex, without a bikini being taken off? Is that some sort of weird 90s perversion?
I don't know.
Being like, God, I can't wait to fuck somebody through their fabric.
I don't know. It was very weird, and I didn't like it.
Me either.
Most of this film for me.
And then I went, is that how they're making them? But no, that's not.
That's not.
Like, that. What we see with the gorilla fucking this girl
is
just
inconsequential.
Yeah, it's kind of like the failed experiment of the exact same experiment that then wound up being successful.
Yeah, they end up just making them like test tube babies almost.
Right. Now, a subhumanoid is also born with quite possibly one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen that I continually wanted to look away at.
I loved it.
Are you serious?
I thought this was
every time it was on screen.
The crowning jewel of this movie, and that's not saying much. I think it was hilarious.
Every single subhumanoid clone, instead of having a belly button, has a second mouth.
And it's straight up lips.
Fucking disgusting.
Lips and teeth.
Lips, tongue, teeth.
It's so good. I thought this was the part where I laughed.
And then they had like a montage of
them
lips,
doing
tongue,
shit,
teeth.
of them eating. There was one of them kissing
another belly button
and
of
then
the same
smoking
thing.
a cigarette afterwards.
Oh my
it's
God.
so funny. One of them does something and you can actually see through it to the room behind it because it's just a shell.
It was so gross.
I liked that part.
No, I was weirded out. I was
so
super
funny.
weirded out by it. And it is the thing that identifies them versus regular humans.
Yes.
But God, it was disturbing to me.
So, Brick Bronsky is at a basketball game reporting, and he's watching this new girl, and he's like, "Oh wow, she's so good. She's so good at this sport," and then she fucking melts in front of everyone.
Yes.
To a pile of goo.
Yes.
So,
but we did miss something. So, Beef Hardcake is he's never had sex.
That's right, he's never had sex.
Or no, he has, but it's been so long.
Yes.
Right? And he gets a flyer that they're doing experiments where basically you get $8 an hour to end and you have sex.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh fuck yeah."
Yeah, he's like first in line.
Yeah, he gets in and
he's interviewed by Professor Holt. And
she asks him how many times he's had sex and in the past month, and he said 25 times, and she's like, "Self-flagellation does not count," which is kind of funny.
Yeah. And other people are like, "Oh no."
Yeah, they're like, "Fuck." So he goes in the room. He's told by a computer to blindfold himself and to not take off.
Yeah, with some like heart speaker.
It reminds me of the.
What that is.
Did you ever play The Sims?
No.
In order to have sex in The Sims, you had to buy a special bed that you could have sex in, and it looks like that has a big heart headboard on it.
So, Victoria is the name of the character. This girl walks in, and she's in like Fredericks of Hollywood, like lingerie.
Yeah.
The whole movie, in some way, shape, or form, she's wearing something that I would consider lingerie, not actual clothing.
Yeah.
In this case, she's wearing like white lacy stockings that aren't quite fishnets. They're more just like lace all the way up.
Yeah.
A lacy like bedrobe, and then like lacy gloves.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right? Also, like, this is that thing where I don't think whether I was born now or whether I was born back then, I would have found this kind of fashion attractive.
No, she also got a really small head, a really small face. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, Carly, dude, she was like, "That girl got a small ass face."
Oh, poor girl. So, yes, this character is played by
Leesa Rowland.
Yeah, Leesa Rowland, who
has not been in anything other than Troma stuff.
Yeah, pretty
For the most
much,
part.
right? Like
Yeah.
Sergeant Kabuki Man. She actually was in Return to Nukem High, Volume 1, the fourth movie in this series.
Toxic Tutu.
Oh, she's gonna be in the new one, Shakespeare's Shitstorm, and
She was in Law and Order
oh yay,
in an episode.
Oh, what's Slaughter Daughter?
Uh-oh. I think we just threw something on our list.
Probably. So, but I mean, she does a decent enough job for what she's got. She's more or less supposed to be the female lead to a movie that like doesn't give a shit about females.
Yeah, and no female lead also.
Yeah.
It's like she literally does nothing.
Yeah. So subhumanoids also don't really think or feel, but this girl seems to be the exception to the rule. Like,
Yeah.
she's starting to think or feel a little bit more.
She funks real good.
Yeah.
And
right?
then they're funking, and he says, "Oh my god, it feels like you have a second mouth down there." And
Right.
it's like licking him.
Right. And I'm like, shouldn't you be concerned about that?
Oh, nice.
Like, what did he think that was?
Her vagina.
Yeah. She's like, I do have a second mouth.
Oh my god.
I have a third mouth.
Yeah, so Dr. Holt says, like, wow, she's feeling passionate with this boy or whatever.
Yeah, she's evolving.
Yes.
Right? And then, so Man Cheese Hardbrick is immediately enamored.
Yeah, he falls in love with her instantly.
Right? But doesn't know who she is or where he can find her.
Yep.
Right? So he just goes about his journalistic approach to things. There is, like you were saying,
A basketball game.
There's this basketball game.
They watch this girl,
Mhm.
and she is doing really good, and then she fucking melts
Yeah.
into a pile of goo.
Into a pile of goo, but then the pile of goo has it's like a troll head.
Yeah, it comes out.
Right?
Like a critter.
It's like,
It
it is like
literally
a
looks like
critter.
a critter.
Yeah. It's like a really bad critter ripoff.
Which is pretty bad, because a critter is a bad Gremlins ripoff, so it's like, that's pretty bad. It almost looks as bad as a ghoulie.
Yeah, it does look like a ghoulie. It's a hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
Damn, we're just naming critter ripoff. I mean, like gremlin ripoffs, basically.
Yeah, so he goes to his editor, who's like a MILF.
And Professor Holt actually comes with a net and grabs that some humanoid.
Yeah, and she's like, don't worry about it. She just ate too much before she exercised.
and it's learned that Professor Holt is trying to save what these subhumanoids are becoming by these little like troll dolls, and trying to revert them back to their original state, but she hasn't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
So yes, Man Cheese Hardcake goes to his editor, who's dressed as Poison Ivy
For some reason.
and is also sexually harassing him.
Yeah. She kind of wants to fuck.
She does at the same time as make fun of him.
Yeah, she wants to fuck, but she's also like, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Just try to do something about the BO.
It's so weird.
But he tells her, like, there's something weird going on at the school, and she basically tells him, which is really funny because it's completely true about the news media. She's like, no one wants anything real. They just want gossip. And he's like, okay.
There's also some weird scenes in which, there's a guy choking out a girl, and he's like, let me carry your books.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus. This is that kind of thing where, this is a prime example of a movie, I feel, that was watched from people back then and has now carried over into disastrous results as a society as a whole.
Yeah, it's
right?
like,
Where they're
oops.
like, this is all okay. It's okay to pull people's bras off. It's okay to oogle them and take pictures of them behind the scenes. I was just watching Sleepaway Camp 2 the other day, and there was guys that taking Polaroids of naked chicks, and it was just like,
Yeah, that was much the nature of film back then, though. But it was just so, fucked up.
But I don't understand how, it was still socially acceptable to the point of, nobody was, commenting on it.
It wasn't, and people were.
Were they?
Yeah, it was a very small minority of, it wasn't a small minority. It was a big majority. It was a very quiet majority.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do anything.
True.
But this is also trauma everything.
Right.
It's just always been trauma. They've been disgusting, and, sexist and misogynist, and it's just and racist. Holy shit, Poultrygeist.
Is it racist?
It's post 9/11, so you answer that question for yourself.
Okay. Got it.
Yes, it's very fucked up. That's why
whatever. It's not whatever. Let me put it that way. Like, I like the man as a person.
Yeah.
I love Lloyd Kaufman. I think he is extremely kind and generous, and I think he's innovative. For everything that he's pulled off. But some of this humor is questionable.
Yeah, very much so.
But once again, he only produced this.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean,
he produced it, and he lent his voice to the helicopter pilot at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I thought
that's
that was
it.
him.
So, most of the blame's still going to fall on this director and these writers.
Yeah, they let it happen. So yeah, he's basically brushed away that like no one gives a shit about anything bad that's happening at this school. And then some shit happens.
Yeah. So Toxic Avenger breaks the fourth wall and shows up on the set of Class of Nuke 'Em High
like,
too.
Nuke or Toxie, what are you doing here?
And
like
it's just
this, they're like, this isn't your movie. You're on soundstage 4. Fuck off. And he's like, oh, and he leaves. And it's like, thanks for that, guys. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Did you know this movie was that bad that you're like, we gotta put Toxic Avenger in it, or people are gonna be bummed.
People won't know it's a trauma film.
People will be like, fuck, this movie sucks.
We only had 4 titties in it, so we need something to let them know it's a trauma film.
There was still quite a lot of titties.
No, there was a lot. I stopped counting individual like pairs of breasts and just went like, here's this many scenes of nudity.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Honestly,
it is. It's distracting.
It's distracting.
No, I mean like it's just like, oh, is that boobs in the background?
Yeah,
yeah,
boobs again.
Yeah,
here's some more boobs.
So
as we were mentioning before, Roger is obsessed with Victoria, and then he formally meets her because what they're doing is they're slowly releasing subhumanoids, quote, into the wild, into the student population.
They're integrating
to
them into
blend
the
in,
students, yeah.
right? And so he runs into Victoria at the cafeteria, in which he runs into her literally, and she spills and breaks a glass bottle. And
then she just starts picking the glass up with her hands.
Yeah, and then just has like a glass shard through her palm.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jesus Christ, are you okay?
Exactly.
And
Jesus
she's like,
Christ. It's a Christ allegory.
No, it's not.
She is. She's not from this world. Through the hand, he says Jesus Christ.
He didn't. I just made that up.
I know.
God damn.
I was trying to give this movie...
Sorry, guys. We're really stretching here.
I was trying to give this movie more than it's worth.
Yeah. So, yeah, he finally meets her. She has this weird thing that he doesn't seem to address. Oh, he's got milk all over his face in this scene, too. And
now he's just white.
Yeah. Where Victoria is calling Professor Holt Mommy. And nobody seems to blink an eye.
He
at
does a
this.
little bit. He's like, Mommy. And then she stops saying it.
Yeah, but then says it again before like the end of that conversation.
Yeah.
So we also realize that not all subhumanoids were created equal, and that some look disgusting.
Yeah.
Like there's this like leathery looking woman.
Yeah.
That is just like too old to be like a subhumanoid clone.
Yeah.
Where I was like, whose mom was owed a favor in this film?
Like, put me in the movie.
Right?
Please.
Because he's like, hey, subhumanoid, you're more experienced. Teach this other subhumanoid. I was like, please don't take off your bra.
Yeah.
Please, God.
There's a subhumanoid that integrated itself into real society. You can find him in most of Ron Howard's films.
Oh, Mom, they did it! Oh,
it's been a while.
It's been a while, Mom, but there he is.
How'd they know about the mouth belly button?
They just saved the show. Mom, I was really worried about this episode, but they brought me in and I saved the day.
Hell yeah.
Oh, God. I hope they don't talk about my belly button, though.
Ronnie told me I could voice the... Is Castaway of Ron Howard? Is that Robert Zemeckis?
That's Zemeckis.
Fuck. They're the same.
He told me that I could be the chalkboard on Beautiful Mind.
He told me I could be the baby that gets left in the bathtub. He said I was wrinkly enough.
Thank you. I've actually never seen that movie, so I only had chalkboard.
Oh, no, yeah, he forgets that his baby's in the bathtub and it almost dies.
God damn.
Yeah, it's a sad movie.
He told me I could be the really gross albino pastor in Angels and Demons.
Oh my god. I could be the guy who whips myself. I do it anyway. Clint Howard, we
he
love
told
you.
me I could be Mona Lisa. He said, just stand there and look pretty.
Anyway, who wants another ice cream, man?
Don't talk about my belly button.
Please. Please, fuck God, please.
Oh, now we have to go back to this movie.
Yeah, that was a better movie with Clint Howard. Yeah,
The Howards, Subhumanoid Meltdown.
Damn.
So,
what?
yeah. Now we're at a point where I'm sorry, I'm still on Clint Howard. So now we're at a point where Juice Box Steroids is going down, and he is going back to his editor, and he's like, I got the story. I figured it out. Like they're creating like weird people, and the editor calls up the dean, and the dean is like, hello, Dean, this is Janice Jones. And then she goes, yeah, that's right, the blonde. Right? And I'm like, oh, come on. It's so like, oh, blondies.
Yeah, right? It's so dumb.
Like, it's just as if, like, everybody plays by the same rules of, like, the most misogynistic being like, Janice Jones, I don't know Janice Jones. The blonde, right? The blonde? Yeah, the blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, so dumb.
Yeah. So, another subhumanoid meltdown happens when, basically, the squirrels request two subhumanoids, one of each sex, to go to just a hangout, a party that they're having somewhere on campus in a junk hole.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just gross.
Show me your junk hole.
Yeah. And a male subhumanoid shows up and then winds up, like, chewing on glass.
Yeah.
And
then
he's mentally not there.
Yeah, and then then they cut back and they come back and he has tons of glass coming through him.
Yeah, just like out of his cheeks and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And then hell, like blood's falling out of his mouth.
Yeah,
and then it starts foaming.
Right, and then he melts down and turns himself into a little troll too. Not Troll 2 though.
Oh, a Troll
far better
as
movie
well.
That would be. Yeah.
That's wild when you're saying Troll 2 is a far better film.
Probably.
He turns into a critters ball.
To be fair, I've never seen Troll 2.
Oh my god.
I know, right?
They're eating her. And now they're going to eat
I've seen
me.
that. We've all seen that.
No, you haven't.
I have seen
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is naked in that movie.
I don't believe you.
Dead serious. She's in it, and she plays a plant woman.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Can't piss on hospitality.
It's called Poison Ivy. That's the plant woman.
Damn.
So, Victoria was supposed to be the other subhumanoid at the party, but she decided to abandon the party and go see the person that she's falling in love with.
Bronk dump dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have sex again.
Uh-oh.
And he proceeds to, after sex, kiss down her navel and then winds up making out with the belly button lip.
Well, then he's like, then he sees it and he's like, ah!
Yeah, he's like, the fuck?
Like any person would do.
Right? So, like, it's fair. And then she gets embarrassed and runs away.
Yeah.
But as she runs out the door, there's like a squirrelette, like, holding a machete to a guy in the background.
Yeah.
Like, and I stopped questioning things after that final, like, being like, the fuck? And then Roger tries to find her again and can't find her, but has pretty much figured out the subhumanoid meltdown thing when a janitor in the editor's office is also a subhumanoid and melts down.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to be like, I'm Larry the janitor.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
dumb.
It gets to that level that a lot of trauma films have, where it's like something as a puppet then starts talking and becomes the main focus of the movie.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh, please, God, no.
Yeah, and it comes with him.
Yeah.
Yep. It shows him how to get to the other subhumanoids. It's fucking
But not
terrible.
before, like, being like, you should rally all the other students and let them know what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
And they're still like, we don't fucking believe you, even though there's like a creature there.
Yeah.
Until like, basically they're like, where is it? Oh yeah. Oh damn. This stupid movie. As this is all happening, there's just a random nuclear waste guy, right, who's cleaning up waste and decides to throw a lunchbox full of it over a fence.
Yes.
And it opens up and a squirrel gets inside. And the squirrel's talking. The squirrel's like, how much of a yummy nuclear waste?
Yes. And then it
Right?
gets bigger and bigger.
Like, why did it have to talk?
It's funny. He's funny. Yes, the squirrel gets enormous, starts attacking.
Well, it starts to grow.
Yes, it starts to grow.
It hasn't done that yet. Meanwhile, oh, that's right. Man Cheesehead goes to
Mayor McCheese.
Yeah, goes to the Nukamama on his own first.
Yes.
And that's when like a giant fucking like baby
Flying
fly
baby
thing?
This okay.
What is that?
It made me laugh.
Okay, so you secretly like this movie then, because you keep admitting that you've laughed more times than it should be acceptable.
It flies by him, goes to the end of the hallway, flips him off, and is like, fuck you, and flies away. And it made
What
me...
is it, though?
I don't know.
It looks like a gargoyle.
It's my favorite creature design in this movie, because it's like, what?
It looks like the baby from Toy Story 1, that baby doll. Like,
yes, but flying.
But with, like, flying wings
with
and
a
it's all
dolphin
gray.
body.
Yeah, it has a fishtail.
We'll post it, because it's funny.
We won't probly, because I'll forget.
I'll
But,
post it.
All right, you go ahead and
it's
post it.
so funny.
It's so weird. And then after that, he does meet Murray the janitor, who turns into the subhumanoid creature. And then, oh, that's right, he's trying to convince all the students, being like, Nukamama's lying to you, they're creating these subhumanoid creatures, and everybody's like, we don't believe you, until literally Larry the janitor, as the subhumanoid troll, comes out and being like, you believe me now?
Yeah.
And then another, like, subhumanoid in
Melts.
the room is just like, I saw another subhumanoid, I guess. Blah!
Yeah,
and like
he
melts.
just melts.
I didn't understand that, like, if you saw a meltdown subhumanoid monster, you also melted down?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Because he just immediately just melts down. So the students decide to attack,
Yeah.
and chaos ensues.
Chaos ensues. They're just beating the shit out of people. And
Meanwhile, Professor Holt was arrested or kidnapped by the dean when she realized what his real plot or plan for the subhumanoids was.
Yeah.
Which was for military purposes.
Yep. Yeah. And he wants to use them as, like, cheap labor.
Right. And so he, like, locks up Professor Holt, locks up Victoria, and then after that, this is the point of the film where just chaos ensues. The squirrel is attacking.
Yeah. And they're like, look at its huge eyes and its huge arms and that huge pair of nuts. And it's got nuts in his hands.
Why are the nuts overgrown too?
I don't know, but here's my thing, right? Going into this movie and knowing how stupid it was, I was like, it's just going to be two big acorns. Why wasn't it just like two big balls? That would have been way funnier.
Or at least it holding them down there.
Yes. It's holding them at its chest and it drops them and they like crush a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps dropping rocks on things
Yeah.
and crushing it. Like, a lot of people are dying. There's this weird thing where, like, one person gets crushed, one bigger girl who happens to have, like, a bra on that looks like eyeballs, right? And then she gets crushed by a bunch of rocks, and then a nun comes by with an oversized pair of glasses and puts them over top
the boobs,
and then the scene's done.
Yep. Thanks for
Why?
that joke.
It's not even a joke.
Literally, all it was missing was a, and then we would have been good.
Yeah. And so, Ponytail Hard Rock is finds Victoria, but Victoria is starting to melt down too.
Yeah.
Right?
And this brings us to
what we saw in the beginning. Right? And so he's trying to figure it out. He's like, please, God, somebody help me. Right? And then he runs into Professor Holt because Professor Holt gets picked up by the squirrel.
And dropped.
dropped.
And turned into like goo when she drops.
Yeah.
And he's like, please, I love her so much. You got to help me stop her from melting down. And she's like, Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood. All you have to do is take this antidote and give it to her every day. And that's it.
Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood. This is a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, like give it to her every day for the next like 3 weeks or something. Right?
And she'll be fine.
And she had this vial in her hair. But no plug in the vial.
No, it's just loose, just leaking everywhere.
And so he gives it to her, and now the squirrel is on a rampage, and the movie just ends.
Literally, all they do is 2 helicopter pilots, one voiced by Lloyd Kaufman, talk about.
I think the other one's Michael Hertz.
Yeah,
I think it's the other producer.
They're talking about where they're going to lead it to, and he's like, "Let's lead it to South Tromaville." He's like, "No, I live in South Tromaville." All right, how about North? And he's like, "No, I live in North." He's like, "How about East Tromaville? That's where my mother-in-law lives." And the guy's like, "That's where my mother-in-law lives too."
Yeah.
End movie.
Yeah. Did you watch the credits?
No.
Halfway through the credits, the helicopter pilots come back on.
Oh, God.
And they're like, it doesn't seem to be going where we want it to go. Like, are we supposed to stop it? They're like, no, that's for Class of Nukem High Part 4.
Oh,
and
my God.
And he goes, Part 4? Well, isn't this Part 2? And he's like, no, well, it is. And he goes, well, why would there be a Part 4? And he's like, I don't know, because my contract's only for Part 3.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, you hear the squirrel, like, take him out, like, Lloyd's helicopter.
Damn.
And that's the whole movie, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Quickest episode we've ever done.
Yeah, and if you thought we missed stuff, we didn't.
You know what? You're right. Like, we breezed through it. I had not much to say.
Like I said, the plot is 10 minutes, and the rest is just, like, shit happening.
Mm-hmm. So, for the sequel to this movie, Class of Nukem High Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid, Brick Bronsky has a twin brother, and they both try to fight and defeat the squirrel. So, I mean, just for the sake of trying to figure it out, like, I'm interested in how this will all play out.
Fuck, that means we have to watch another one.
Next year. We'll do it for, end of school next year.
Yeah, I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah. But what I do find is very funny is that, like, when Return to Nukem High, a.k.a. Volume 1, is out, they do the same kind of, like, previously on Nukem High, right? And they tell the first one again in detail, and it's all done by Stan Lee. Stan Lee's doing the voiceover.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's right.
And then he goes, and then some other stuff happened in Part 2 and 3, and they just fast forward through the scenes.
Thank God.
Yeah. So, like, even... It's interesting. It's even Lloyd Kaufman himself is just like, yeah, fuck that movie.
Seriously, God.
Yeah. So that's that. Where would you put it on the Jaws scale?
This is a cruel Jaws. Jesus Christ.
This is a cruel Jaws. It's not unwatchable.
It's almost.
It's grown worthy. It is still decently made. Like, for it's not shot on VHS.
I mean, it's made.
Yeah. It's trying to be something. I'll give it that. So I'm going to give it a Jaws 4.
I'll actually give it a Jaws 4 because I still haven't seen Cruel Jaws, and I don't want to disrespect Cruel Jaws.
So that's what we felt. I would not recommend it. I still wouldn't recommend it.
No, don't even watch it.
Okay.
We're going to find that baby scene. That's the only thing you need to watch.
Yeah. But my question is, what did Carly think?
So you know the scene where the doctor first comes in and starts talking with that voice? That's literally where she stopped watching and went to the gym, and she never came back till the movie was over.
Okay.
Dead serious. She was just like, yeah, I can't do this. And she left. So that's where she stands on that one. Yeah, as soon as he opened his mouth and was talking in that voice, she said, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah, this was a rough one. Sorry, Carly. So that's what Carly thought. But I'm really curious because there's got to be some like major Troma fans out there. What did the internet think? And I like to ask that by saying, give me 5. This one is written by Rock Monster 2. It is written in January 23rd of 2001, titled Incredibly Funny and Entertaining. I saw the bad IMDb vote of this film, and I thought it would be worse than Class of Nukem High 1. But actually, I occurred to watch it, and all I can say is, great, great, great! This movie is a real masterpiece of entertainment. It has everything a movie should have. Mutant monsters, sex, gore, incredible fat people, bikini girls and non-bikini girls, crazy-looking punks, radioactive waste, a great rock soundtrack. Literally, it's one song, the song you heard in the intro to this show.
New York's hottest club is Class of Nukem High 2. It's got fat people.
New York's hottest club is Nukem Mama. It's got car explosions, football babies, belly button mouths, flying man mutants.
What's a flying man mutant?
Flying man mutant. A flying man mutant is when a little midget comes in. And he rides on the back of a larger person. A Toxic Avenger guest appearance. Hashtag, exclamation mark, go and get this one, exclamation mark, hashtag, end quote.
10 stars.
10 stars. So, the next one is written by FHA Betts, May 9th of 2000, titled, Frenzied Film is Fabulous Fun. I love alliteration.
Yeah, I was going to say, great alliteration.
This is the kind of movie I never thought possible. Fast and Furious. This movie's infectious energy makes double espressos seem like tepid water. Cornball humor and affectionate feel for the truly bizarre are just 2 elements that propel this over-the-top meditation on the human condition. 10 stars.
You know how many 10-star reviews there were for this movie? These 2.
Oh, really?
That was it.
What about Amazon?
I didn't check there because theirs are typically like, yeah, I bought it and the packaging was good.
I would have been down for that. You could have found something funny.
No, these were, I did like these because these people really liked these for some odd reason.
Yeah, they just weren't funny.
No.
It's a sour note to a sour movie. Thanks, pal.
Thanks.
So that just about does it for us here at Bombs Away in probably the quickest episode that we have ever done.
Yeah, God.
You're welcome. So instead of this, why don't you listen to, well, I mean, you already still listened. You listened to the end. Be on the lookout for A Nightmare on Elm Street for our staff picks. That's coming in 2 days if you're listening to this on launch day. And also, there are still tickets available for Nightmare on Elm Street 2 live here at the Frida Cinema with yours truly and Tyler. So,
that's me.
I know, and special guests.
Special guests. They're
Guests.
special.
Super special. So join us 7 p.m. June 29th for Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, the most unintentionally gay horror movie ever created. So that can be all yours if you click the link at linktree/bombsaway-show. That's linktr.ee/bombsaway-show. And then go to tickets. Tickets are available right there. And buy them, come out, support the show, enjoy it, take pictures. It's going to be a blast. Okay?
Okay.
So, also, t-shirts are still available. That's also at that link. You can buy anything ranging from Nightmare on Elm Street shirts to Running Man shirts to Miami Connection. It's all there, and it's all for you. Don't forget, we always have at least once a month a special running on t-shirts. They're normally $20. You can get them for as little as $14 to $13, depending on 35 to 30% discounts. And the only way that you can be on the lookout for those kind of things is if you're following us on our Instagram, on our Facebook, or our Twitter at Bombs Away Show. Okay? So, that just about does it for us. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Tyler.
And
it's the Class of Nukem High, Part 2. This movie sucked.
Why don't you do something about that B.O.?
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?